The facade of the mosque, the columns are cast-in-place concrete sandblasted. The parapet panels and the vertical panels are precast. The windows are aluminum frames with plastic insulated pans. We are standing at the edge of the F Plaza covered walkway. This is the conical dome that covers it. In the background, you see the entrance to building H1, and further down is K. In front is building M. And toward our left, we're going to pan slowly toward it. In the background, building H2, and right here is building F, the auditorium. You're looking now at some of the parking structures of the engineering school. Here you see number 2, 3, 4, and 5, with some of temporary construction buildings in the foreground. The background, the water tower in area 10, and we are panning toward building E, student barracks. Looking at building F, one of the covered walkways that leads around the auditorium. Very fancy precast pieces. You see round windows with a curved top. These were some of the most difficult elements we had to cast on site here in the whole KKMC. The parapet around the stair, the pieces are also precast. The shot along the same corridor you saw from the outside with round windows and the curved ceiling, it leads toward the auditorium, building F at the engineering school. This is a view of the building D from inside the walkway going toward the auditorium, building F. And to the left is building E, with one of the walkways that connects building E with the other buildings here. You're looking at the stage, auditorium, building F, engineering school. The chairs you see behind the table are pure leather. I think they were about $2,500 each. The table itself is a $10,000 item. Of the auditorium, building F, again from the back of the room. Another view of the F Plaza with the dome above. We are at the level of the walkway now. Along building D, and on the right is the mosque. You're looking at building O, another student barracks. And here you're seeing one of the covered areas. In the background is building L, pool and gymnasium. We are looking at the conical dome over the F Plaza. In the background toward the left is building G. And toward the left here is building F. You're looking at the back of building K, the facade toward the pool. We are inside the gymnasium, building L at the engineering school. In the background you see the second level classrooms and offices. Sitting area. Under the sitting area there's an air raid shelter. At the right hand side you could see the entrance to the air raid shelter. At the left side there's another one. We're panning toward it right now. It's the only facility here with a hard floor that we built. All the others, they have some other kind of playing surface. On the right you see the movable bleacher with some of the equipment units. The background noise that you hear probably is the air conditioning system. Shot of the pool. The pool is covered with plastic. They're painting the ceiling. That's why it looks so strange. And you could see the plastic covering over all the railings, benches, floors, etc. You're looking at the minaret and building D in foreground. Toward the left, in the background, is building O. As you know, this has the double windows. That's for the officers. And here is building N, which previously was mistakenly identified as building O. The back of building G and we are approaching the parking structures R2 through R5. Looking at one of the outdoor structures. This is structure W1. Pan toward the city from Road A around the engineering school. You could see the Friday Mosque in the background. There is the commissary in the background. The view of building E from the ring road, Road A. We are looking now at the commissary, the city commissary, with the Friday Mosque in the background to the right. In the foreground is the gasoline island. In the back you could see the entrance to the automotive shop, and behind is the commissary main and proper. Looking at building A with a dome viewed from the A road. And in front of it a low-lying structure, that's the VIP parking, building B. Okay, Hashmi, let's go. Looking at building P, that's the entrance, the gatehouse. The parade ground is in front of you with the building Y. Got a Friday mosque from the east-west spine road past the construction road. They're looking at area 1 and toward the right. Area 9. Another view of the commissary from the east-west spine road. This is a view from the road approaching the engineering school with the building P, the guardhouse in the foreground. Building A, the mosque in the background, toward the right, building N. And at the left, building E. Building Y and the parade ground in the foreground, building A, administration building in the background. Building O, parking structure in the front, building N on the right. Another angle from the ring road around the engineering school. You are looking at the obstacle course for the engineering school. A number of obstacles for the troops to train on. Some of the obstacles are very hard. I doubt that some of the Saudis could use them, or if any of them could use them. You're looking at building J, vehicle maintenance, and the covered parking area next to it, and some of the small X structures, the outdoor training ground. And approaching building K and L. We are looking at a shot of the precast plants in the distance. In the foreground, building the building for the firefighters, training for the firefighters. The background there, the ready-mix plants. Other angle of the obstacle course. X. Island of building J. In the background, building K. Foreground, one of the X building. In the background, immediately behind it, is building G, vocational training shops. This concludes the tour of the engineering school project.
We are now in building 8.1, which is in the south part of the Centrum in King Khalid Military City. The facility here is planned as the centralized recreation facility to be used by all the military peace personnel who will be stationed here at KKMC. In the building itself, right now you're looking at the swimming pool. There are locker rooms underneath the swimming pool, or actually where we are standing now. There's a judo practice room, boxing room, another gymnasium place for handball and racquetball, some exercise rooms, and squash courts. I'm standing right now in the gallery which surrounds the entire pool on an upper level. The pool itself is a 50-meter Olympic-sized swimming pool. It has 8 lanes, and the width of the pool is somewhere around 20 meters. At the end of the pool, you can see the red floaters, the strings that are pulled out and used to delineate the various lanes. There are 8 starting blocks And if you look below the starting block, you can see wires attached to it now. There's a touchpad system. What that does is when a swimmer finishes the race and touches the end of the pool, it automatically stops the time, and you can, races can be timed to the 100th of a second. If you look up at the scoreboard, you can see that that time will automatically be flashed up by its appropriate lane, and you have split-second timing. The locker rooms, as we said before, are located in that area underneath the gallery. Once again, another view of the pool. For those of you who have not swum before, these two strands of flags which cross the pool are for those swimmers who are doing the backstroke. When you're doing the backstroke, you can't really see the wall as it's coming up. So you can see the flags and then judge how many strokes you have left before you hit the wall. If you look at the building itself, the structure is very interesting. Just like the other places of the city where before we had mentioned it being something like a Tinker Toy set, it continues here. It's very simple, though the construction is very complex. We have large beams. These are the largest in KKMC, and then going across the beams are precast units, T-beams, which then make up the roof. As you can see, the city was designed for all occasions. When the 1990 Midget Olympics are brought to this facility, it'll be adequately prepared, especially with our sprinkler system. Okay, this is a shot looking out into the pool from underneath the gallery, and to our left here is the, guess what you call a tumbling room. They have wrestling mats on the floor. Alright, here we have the boxing ring. It's an official-sized boxing ring. You could even get the pro wrestling smash into the corner. The only problem is you'd have to watch your overhead flies because your head clearance is only about 7 feet here. So you have to, maybe the Midget Olympics would do well in this place also. Okay. Here we have the sister side to the swimming pool. This is the gymnasium. It's exactly the same size as the swimming pool. You can see it's almost the same construction with the gallery up top and then a sunken activities area down below. You have enough room here to play at least 3 basketball games at once, with the main central area for the main event or a large contest. These lower bleachers pull out, and for my guess, you could probably get about 3,000 people in this to watch a game. Once again, looking at the construction of the building, you have the large beams spanning a length of almost 120 feet, which are 8 feet in depth, with smaller precast panels, T-beams, placed on top. The floor is called it's like a tartan surface. It's a rubberized synthetic floor, and it's got a few advantages over wood in that it usually will last longer, and as athletes will tell you, when they're using it, you can get a better bounce. Yeah, you can even follow your favorite team in Arabic. Okay, what we're looking at now is the chilled water plant with the electrical switchyard, which is not in view, is behind that. Taking a view, moving to the right, and that blank area would have been area 11, which was deleted from the contract. As we move across to the right, you can see barracks buildings with the purple tile on them, part of area 10. As we move and look on center, you can see a water tower in the distance, which has got the parade ground in front of it. You can see the Saudi Army flag waving in the breeze. This is the brigade, I think 1st Brigade, which houses the Saudi Army. There are 2 brigades here. The other brigade is consisted of DCC, the Gulf Cooperative Council troops. Moving to the right, looking past the headquarters building here, and at another group of barracks with the orange tile. Going all the way farther to the right, you can see Area 9, which is the GCC brigade. One unfortunate result of the Saudis cutting back on certain parts of this project can be seen here. You see an antenna sticking up at an angle out of one of the barracks buildings. The Saudis, as a cost-cutting measure, cut out the closed-circuit TV system throughout the city. And as a result, everywhere you look here, there are unsightly antennas sticking out of every building. Here we are in the firing range, down in the basement of building 8.1. There are 10 stations here for use with small arms fire or with rifles. You can see the template that could be used here when firing a rifle. There are blinders to either side of you to separate you from the other shooters. Here you can control the running of this track, and on that track will be hung an actual target. For example, a picture of a man or something. You could run, it's not on right now, but by pushing the switch you could send the target down, and by pushing the other switch bring it back, and you could see how you did. This is about a 25-meter distance for shooting. The entire system can be controlled in this master control center located behind here. So whoever was in charge, usually range control is by an officer in charge, could stand back behind this glass panel and watch the entire activity during its duration and control each one of the individual stations during the whole time. At the end, there is a sloped area which is metal plated. That's all steel down at the end for any stray projectiles.
You're looking at one of the squash courts here. There are 2 of them. We will take the other one from up high, the 2 of them.
Once again, looking down at the squash court, there's a difference between a squash court and a racquetball court in the lines that are on the floor and the walls, but also in the overall size of the court. The squash court is smaller than a standard racquetball court. Okay, here we are in the main lobby to building 8.1, which also happens to be the main axis, the north-south axis, going through the centrum. Directly behind me is the outer centrum road and area 10. If you look around you, the steps that go down take you to the firing range where we just were. To your right, well, behind me first is the trophy cabinets. To the right, the exercise and tumbling room, the squash court, another doorway that will take you through to the pool, and then to our left, another exit going outside, the boxing room back through here. And then, to your left, the second squash court. Now you're looking down the north-south axis again. You're looking south, going through building 8.1 with your swimming pool to your right and gymnasium to your left, and the brigade, the 1st Brigade, Saudi Brigade, headquarters in front of you, and the mosque for the area behind it. Okay, once again, we're looking at building 8-1, looking at the west side over the swimming pool. We're panning to our south. You can see the overhang of the building and the inside. Going past the same axis where we just were to the gym, and past it, and once again you see the same overhang with some area command buildings behind it. We are between the two halves of building 5.4, looking north. Directly in front of you is a fountain, which is symbolically the center of the enlisted man's life here at KKMC. And in the distance, you go first underneath an arcade, which is building 5.7, and in the distance you can arrive at the main theater and building 6.1. We're going to our right. We're seeing parts of 5.7, a barracks building with the enlisted men's club where those curtains are. Another part of 5.7, once again, with the club and dining areas on that lower level behind the curtains. Okay, you're now looking at the side of building 5.4, which is the vocational center. You can see colored mosaic tiles which have been set into precast panels which are hung onto the wall. Moving to the left of that, we once again see a part of building 5.7. 5.7 is the building for the troops who will run the area command. Still moving to our left, we see below the fountain that is the central part of this entire area, and corridors of rooms which are once again barracks for the men, the enlisted men who will run the area command. Moving to our left, we continue another part of 5.7, and then another, the west part of 5.4 here. Okay, we're now in 5.4 east, the vocational tech building, and the automotive shop part of this building. In the background you can see all sorts of automotive machinery that the students will be able to learn from. Various generators in front of us and motors in the back. Moving to our left, you can see the jacks and ramps that could be used for working on various automotive machinery, and all the tools, toolboxes, lathes, etc. in the background. Behind me, we have the paint, a large paint booth for doing body work and painting on cars. Pull your machine into it, lock the doors, turn on the system, which will eliminate extra dust that's in the air so that you can paint the machinery. On the floor, you can see some jacks that we use for propping up machines or cars for work, various lathes in the background, lifts, even a chalkboard for teaching the students. Okay, once again, in the far eastern part of the eastern half of 5.4, we're looking at more automotive shop equipment, more lifts, presses, diagnostic equipment for analyzing automobiles.
Alignment system in the foreground.
Okay, this is where we entered into 5.4 east. Around us are more sundry equipment used for working on automobiles. You can see the rolling tool racks, the red and green in the background, and a large chain lift to our right. Okay, you're now looking into the room where they would do masonry work and pottery. They would throw your pots in this area. You can see the wheel buckets in the background for bringing in the clay and materials for it. Okay, you're now looking east between building 5.4, the vocational tech building on your right, and building 8.1, the gymnasium and swimming pool to your left.
No, you're looking west.
Thank you. You're looking west. In the background, you can see building 5.8 west. Okay, to our right we see building 5.4, the VOTEC, the eastern part. The large gray doors lead into those automotive center where we just took the pictures of. You can see an open door here into the large bays.
Let me adjust the white balance here.
Alright, we're now in the printing room. In the center you can see the typeset machines that will be used for printing as in newspaper making. Those benches to our right, the wooden benches, are where a typesetter will work and actually place the typesetters, or the type, into the mold. We're now in the western portion of 5.4, and in particular, the woodworking shop. You can see in this area, all the machines are not in their place right now. They just had some pads removed from under them. The ductwork that you see in the area runs through the area, or the place where each machine will be, and will suck away all the chips and exhaust and the fumes and all the excess from the woodworking system, suck it into a main collection area and get rid of it. Okay, these are the woodworking machines here that have been moved from that area we just looked at. In front of you now, you can see a lot of different colored items. To the left are red scaffolds. Behind that, wheelbarrows. And to the right, scaffolding planks that can be put up between the red supports.
Well, this example is right in front of you.
Back in 5.4 west, this is the plumbing shop. The machinery in the background. To the right, with the plastic covering it and tape around it, are the tools that are used for scoring pipes or fitting them together. Okay, we're now in the welding shop. To the right, individual welding booths. In In the back, you can actually see a canister of gas. And then moving to the left, other equipment used in welding.
Okay.
We're now looking at building 5.7. This is a turn in the building. To the left, you can see the blue tile is a single wing of the building. Going off to the right, the green tile is another wing of the building. And making up the difference between the two, an auditorium suspended midway. Okay, the building you're looking at now is 5.8 West. And what this is it will house an entire battalion, either a field artillery battalion or a combat engineer battalion. The building is divided into two symmetrical parts, and in the middle there is a theater suspended above the walkway. Okay, we're now looking at the dining hall, which will service the troops who live in the western portions of Building 5.7, Area Command Headquarters troop billets, and Building 5.8, which is to our left, which is for either, like I said, a combat engineer or a field artillery battalion. In our foreground are two basketball courts, and to the left, some stairs that can be used as grandstands for the games. Okay, what we're looking at now are buildings 4.2 West, the Bachelor Officers' Quarters in the background. You can see them with the balconies with the colored dividers in between. In the foreground, once again, the dining hall that services the western part of the centrum, and 5.8 West to our left, 5.7 West to our right, where the blue tiles are. The building to the right in the background is the Friday Mosque, the main mosque for the city. Moving farther to our right, we come on an axis which runs all the way from Area 9, which is occupied by the Gulf Cooperative Council troops, through to the Central Arcade. You can see the arches. The Central Arcade where the central fountain of the city is. Okay, moving to the right, you can see the bend where we were previously in 5.7. That's the theater hung between the two parts of the building. And then looking farther in the background, on the right-hand side, the Vocational Tech Building, 5.4. The sail-like light wells in the far background is 5.8 East, which is a mirror to the building we're at right now.
Yeah, those are the double the atriums, the skylights.
Now we're inside Building 5.8 West.